We're gonna start with just some basic positioning. What you'll find is with our gymnastics elements, generally everything that we do with the most basic or the strict movement, that body position is gonna apply toward everything else. We wanna keep that for efficiency of movement. So strict pull-up, we're not gonna have you guys really do these, but they should be trained. They're gonna help build strength. One thing I want you guys to think about is a tight belly and a tight butt. When Matt pulls, there's not much deviation at all here, okay? So you can go to the side for me, Matt, on one of these. What I want you guys to watch is Matt stays tight. When he pulls, there's not much overextension here. A lot of people, when they pull, they overextend off the bat and everything's broken, okay? So I want you guys to think about that application because that's going to apply toward our kipping pull-up. So having said that, when we talk about our pull-up, a gymnastics kip is the next most efficient thing, right? It's still less efficient than a butterfly pull-up, but a gymnastics kip, efficiently done, we're gonna see generally a smaller push away at the top. We want to think about the press away as our gearbox. So when Matt's doing a gymnastics kip, it's tight. His belly's tight, and this is going to create more of a straight up and down line of action. You can rest. When you see athletes get tired, this again is less efficient, but as you get tired, this might be what? More efficient for you guys. So what we'll resort to later on is a larger kip, and that's where we start to see a bigger press away at the top and more movement. There's nothing wrong with this pull-up, but you guys can tell which is faster, the first or the second. The first, exactly. Why? He's moving less range of motion. There's a better line of action on the bar. Nice, guys, and what a lot of you are starting to find is at the bottom of your pull-up, when you start to think about a tighter kip, you guys have to stay real tight through your belly. If you stay tight through your belly, what do you feel at the bottom of your kip? You feel a lot of spring there? When you loosen this up, what happens? We lose that spring. So if you start to let go of your belly, when we're talking about a faster set or that shorter press away, if you let go of your belly, you lose the spring. Next thing we're gonna go over is your butterfly kips, okay? So butterfly, I think the best way to teach this is not with small circles, and I'll tell you why. So a lot of athletes start, and they'll start by creating small circles underneath the bar. But where is Matt's head going? Through the bar. You can rest. Does your head ever go through the bar when you're at the top? No. And if you create that habit, you have to overextend to pull through the bar and dive underneath the bar. A lot of things else we'll see is a lot of excessive movement from the legs. It's a good way to learn it, but once we start to get moving, that's super inefficient. So show us a couple good ones. You guys will see how tight the kip is, and Matt's generally gonna stay tight from the shoulder to the heel. You can rest. If Matt has the habit of pulling through the bar too hard, what's he gonna do? He's gonna be overextended. Show us what that looks like, the big dive through. Yeah, that's not so efficient, right? And then if we see the legs used a lot in unison with that, you guys are just burning energy. So this is really common, and it's really super inefficient, right? We see that a lot. But if you guys ever hear this term like Kelly and Carl talk about, like global flexion and extension, that's where you guys want to be. It's just basically saying when I squeeze my butt in my belly, I can lean back so far, and I can flex so far. And that's kind of the only movement you guys need to have. It generates from the hips. So show us some other good ones here, Matt. And our movement is going to be much tighter. The last thing you can rest to think about, guys, is elbow position. And this might sound kind of silly, but a lot of us in a gymnastics kip will put our elbows back, right? And this is good. We want this so we have the push away. If I put my elbows back on a butterfly kip, I'm likely to pull through the bar. But if I keep my elbows in front, it allows me to block myself so I can't. So this, bad, this, good. Because if you guys go here, can you pull the bar past your head? No, that's as far as you can go. So instead of finishing with your elbow position here, elbows in tight. If you put your feet together, it creates more torque. Nice, yeah. Really squeeze like that, yeah. Nice, yeah. That's a good thing. You'll stay more rigid, so you won't have as much movement. And you can see Becca really pull. Yeah, it's not bad, Becca, but it's just as you maybe even get like more pulling power, you'll be able to stay here. But often you'll find that's why gymnasts, everything they do, their feet are together. It's because they're tighter through the system. You'll never see them feet wide. Just don't pull through the bar. Who cares where your elbows are? Just don't pull through the bar. The next thing we're gonna talk about is how we apply these to chest to bar pull-ups. Typically, that's gonna be a standard in the games because it's easier to judge, usually, but it's not always the case. So chest to bar, I think a lot of people struggle with this and they think they have to pull quite a bit higher and they have to leave with like a bruise on their chest. But if you guys have a narrower grip, it's harder to retract your shoulders and get your chest to the bar. So if you widen your hands just a touch, you'll be able to pull back more easily. This one, you probably will overextend at the top a decent amount so that you can graze the bar instead of smack the bar. So what we want to see with Matt is we'll go with a butterfly because that's the most efficient. He's going to have a touch wider grip, and as he pulls, everything's the same, but you can just barely hear Matt skimming the bar in rest. So there's going to be a higher pull. What's really common is you'll see a pause at the top. You'll see athletes pull to the top, smack the bar, drop out of the sky, and that looks like this. Yeah, and that's not so efficient, right? So you guys want to make sure that it's more of a graze. The movement doesn't change. Wider hands, tuck the chin, and yes, overarch a bit at the top so you guys can graze the bar. Pulls just a little bit higher. Yeah, good question. Asia asked if we should think elbows in. Now you guys are going to think elbows back, because the elbows back is going to help you get your chest to the bar. I know, I'm just totally changing it up on you guys. So don't be afraid to overextend a little bit at the top so that as you hit it, you're coming down. Does that make sense? You're hitting the bar on the down phase of the movement.